and is the leader of the Strike Manchester group that aims to develop radical trade unionists across Manchester by merging socialist and workers' movement and doing that through education, training, solidarity and social. So they've gone very well.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, thank you very much. So I was asked this evening to sort of speak about how we build across rank and file trade union networks, to sort of follow on what Emily's was saying about the needs for the trade unions and those workers in that union to move outside the boundaries of own workplaces and maybe look at things like TUC. What I would sort of posit is the need for rank and file workers from a union to speak to other rank and file unions across the movement in order to share organising strategies, to share the lessons, victories, defeats, things like that. And that's what we try to do with Strike Manchester. So I've got a question for the audience. Raise your hand if you're involved in Strike Manchester or you've been to the Strike Manchester events. There we go, mass organisation. Strike Manchester was sort of set up in February 2022. The reason I'm sort of going through sort of the thinking behind it and the history of it, what we've done, is for you to then go away to where you want to start thinking of what needs to be done in your own geographical areas. So the reason we set up Strike Manchester was we felt there's a real space for rank and file trade unions, and we were sort of seeing that wasn't necessarily being done within individual unions, and as socialists we felt that we were sort of scattered across the city, particularly after the collapse of Corbynism. So what we sort of set up Strike Manchester as a space for socialists to come together in a non-sectarian space, also a space for workers as well, because as comrades we see ourselves as worker intellectuals, and we've got a duty and role to set ourselves within the trade union movement to politicise other rank and file workers and to build that independent work-class organisation within the trade union movement. So how we did that was, was described, was sort of focused on sort of several strands. One, developing explicitly socialist political education, sort of stuff they don't get within trade unions, and that would sort of take the form of workshops where we sort of select text like this pamphlet, for example, and it's something to do in the future and get reps and shop stewards from across the city to come together and discuss those texts in a way that we wouldn't necessarily do within an individual trade union. Other things we can do would be sort of organiser trainings, so things like how to hold organised conversations, how to map your workplace, so the sort of things that aren't necessarily done in all trade unions but are increasingly being done, as well as with the development of strikes in that year, holding strike fundraisers, offering practical solidarity to the trade unions across the city. So, for example, we did a film screening of NAPAS around for the RMT last year as well. But as well as things like picnic visits and working with the strike clubs that Albion's now been involved with as well. So that's been had a really, really positive effect for not only us comrades within the Strike Manchester committee, putting ourselves into contact with workers across the city, but for those reps, what we for them to discuss what's going on in their workplaces, what's going on in their disputes as well. And that was really illustrated when we did a reading group for the book Workers Could Win by Ian Allison, which is sort of how to organise your workplace. But in that reading group, we had reps from the RMT, Unison, NU, all in major disputes at the same time. So in those reading sessions, we would have half of it discussing the book, but the second half we discussing, how's it going? What's your picket line been like? What strategies have you done? What have you been saying to workers? During the dispute, how you sort of keep morale up? What you're saying to workplaces? To people in workplaces, things like that's been really, really positive, really, really useful. Now that's something that I think can be replicated elsewhere across the country. I don't think we should be waiting for independent rank and file organisation. We know we need it. You sort of mentioned the existence of worker organisation. So what we need to do is start sort of consciously building it because it won't spontaneously happen. Emily sort of mentioned that strike away. Ebbing, being that Arsenal dispute, we've got really, really careful that doesn't dissipate. And those workplace reps who become active over the last year or so, that's cohered and brought together within an organisation within. That could be something like Strike Manchester, it could be something like strike clubs, but we've got to have some organisation form that keeps people together because the strike wave over the last 18 months, that's not just going to be a one-off. No, inflation, rising food prices, these are the things that are going to be, recurring over and over again as capitalism continues to dysfunction. So we've got to see what's happened over the last 18 months, not as a full stop, but as a pause in a battle. Speaking about my union, we did win a significant pay rise, but it's not what we intended when we began with, and we're expecting to be on strike next year as well. So we've got to make sure that we're ready for dispute, and we've got that rank of organisations within, not only in our union, but we're speaking to workers across other unions in similar disputes, and their dispute this year included in a similar way. So just sort of think ahead to sort of the next few months. Strike Management, we're doing a series of workshops titled Revolutionary Strategy, because we sort of think now there's a layer of threats across the city who've been on dispute, want to pick lines, but no, actually they need politicising. They need that connect between what's happened in their workplace to the wider economic system. So on Tuesday, we've got a workshop, Tuesday 7 o'clock at the Working Class Movement Library, titled Reflections on Strike Wave. That's going to be a series of articles, that's right, including one from the line. Most recent issue, and others for reps to sort of talk about what's happened and what needs to happen coming into the future. Just to sort of sum up for you. So for us, here this evening, we're working intellectuals, and we're both politically advanced layer of the class, and we've got a real duty when we're doing our labour organising, our trade union organising, to be consciously building that radical organisation, not only within our trade union and within the NEU we have educators. So we know, and as comrades in the union, we've got a duty to make sure that coheres itself into a democratic, independent organisation of our own bureaucracy, and also start thinking about what that looks like across other trade unions, because working within trade unions and working in schools, we can't think in sense of economic demands. We've got to have a think about what does the independent political action work class look like. It comes to a political party, right? And we've got to see things like tonight, things like this pamphlet. The author was a communist, right? It's part of the CPG being. They've got to see these radical groupings as pre-planned forms that may develop something wider in the future.